I want to raise the issue of the rights and entitlements of the Senza workers, and there's two issues I wanted to ask the Minister about. One is in relation to the treatment of the workers and the way the whole issue has been dealt with by their employers. You know, as you know, the employees literally got virtually no notice that they were about to be made unemployed. Some people were phoned and told not to turn up for work the next morning. For example, at the Liffey Valley store, workers turned up on Monday and were told, basically turned up to work as normal, and were told to help removal men that were at the store to pack up the store and the store's contents. You know, so that type of treatment, they weren't given any written notice that they were being made redundant. There wasn't any attempt to engage them as should be done in terms of the terms of the redundancy. And there's an issue that arises out of that. People have no documentation. They haven't been paid their wages for the month of January, including large amount of overtime and Sunday payments and so on, and they are not able to sign on and get social protection. So so they haven't been paid since the end of December. So that's one question. The second question I wanted to ask is, how can a company get away with this? Now, you know, this company knew this was coming down the line. They mightn't have told the employers, but they did know. There were certainly reports about consideration of this company going into administration at the end of December. I saw a report in the BBC, and yet they gave the workers the opposite impression, you know, that they'd be told, they'd be given notice and so on. They got them to come in and work long hours. These people, the workers came in and they worked in good faith, and they got no pay for that work. And as a result, the company has made huge profits over the last month. It's taking that money out of the country, and is saying at the same time that it's not going to pay redundancy for the workers, and that the state is going to have to pick up the tab. So I wanted to know what has been done about that, and also the fact that the company Line Capital that owns the company is hugely profitable and successful and has large amounts of money at its disposal, and other companies in Senza, other stores, have been sold off and are going to continue to trade. So those things should be looked into.
There is no one political entity within this House that has a monopoly on the rights of workers. And as I've stated in relation to the Vita Cortex case, where you have a serious breach of corporate social responsibility and corporate governance, and the same follows in respect of this case also. And I just want to put on the record that there is no question but that the rights of workers have not been vindicated, that they have been trampled upon. There's no question about that. And that under the Protection of Employee Acts, which goes back to 1977 through to 2007, there are a number of provisions regarding an information and consultation process that must be entered into prior to any redundancies being implemented, and regarding the provision of information to employees and to the Minister for Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation. In this case, Ceann Comhairle, the Minister for Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation has not received any statutory notice of such redundancies. So that, to my mind, is a serious breach in the first instance. And what I would like to put on the record of the House is the need for my department to engage in some way with Mr Meagan and others of Mandate, who it is reported today met with KPMG, and I would like to meet to get some sort of an assessment of how that meeting went, because I do believe that the points that have been raised on this topical issue and the topical issue before this go to the heart of industrial relations policy in this country and vindicating the rights of workers in this instance. So what we must do as a government, we must ensure that there are no precedents set, and we must ensure that the legislation is adhered to by corporate entities and by individuals and by all citizens. So there is no question but that we would support the rights of workers as set down in legislation, and we will seek to do so. So if I may, by way of being helpful on this issue, if I can put on the record of the House my willingness at least to meet with workers' representatives in this issue, so that we can try and provide some degree of assistance where possible. And I'm keeping my statement brief because I do realise that people will want to come in with further submissions. Thank you.
Deputy Tuffy.
I welcome the points the Minister has made there. I just wanted to say as well, to make an added point, in my previous submission I said about some of the Senza stores were sold to this company Alicia, which appears to have bought the stores under a pre-pack deal whereby, a pre-pack deal in administration whereby they're allowed to buy up the assets and the debts are written off. And I think there's a point here about companies being opportunist, and the need to make sure that companies are not allowed to do that type of thing. They're not allowed to speculate when it comes down to people's jobs and people's rights. And if this is a new phenomenon, we need to nip it in the bud. And I would join others in commending the workers for taking their stand, because I do think there are important issues for all workers in this.